Alright, so a bit over a year ago, I made a couple of videos on how you can actually make money by mining crypto on one of these, a $49 smartphone from Amazon. But how has all of that actually worked out? Has it been sustainable? And most importantly, maybe, is phone mining still profitable as of today? Well, all of that is what's coming up in this video after this quick word from our sponsor. My personal strategy in mining is to have a diverse farm. A big part of that is having ASIC miners for multiple different algorithms. Not only does that mean less risk as you're not putting all eggs in one basket, but you're also exposed to the profitability of multiple different coins, which could be very advantageous. And with that in mind, there are currently two miners in particular that I'm interested in. The first one is the new at-home Dogecoin miner from 𝗬𝗏. Dogecoin miners are always on my radar as they let you merge mine multiple coins at the same time without using extra power, with more mining rewards coming from new coins being added regularly. And the 𝗬𝗏 miner actually offers top-tier mining efficiency while still being home mining friendly, as it's silent and runs on both 120 and 240 volt power. And the same goes for the second miner I'm currently interested in, which is, well, either the AE1 Lite or the AE0 from 𝗧𝗧. They both also have top-tier mining efficiency while still being home mining friendly, but they mine 𝗬𝗟, which is a smaller coin with a smaller network. And I love getting smaller miners for coins like that in order to diversify my farm, especially when they offer excellent performance like these ones do. But where can you get these miners from? Well, why not check out this video's sponsor, Coin Mining Central, which is an online store for ASIC miners with an over 6-year track record of overwhelmingly positive customer reviews. They have all the latest and most profitable miners, from silent home miners to full-size ASICs. They can even provide immersion cooling systems and offer great bulk pricing on ASICs. On top of that, if you're in the US, you can also choose to order directly from their US stock of miners to get even faster delivery and to avoid customs and import charges. Based in the UK, Coin Mining Central prioritizes great customer support, strict personal detail protection, and free worldwide shipping on all miners with no additional payment fees at checkout. You can also utilize their loyalty and referral programs to save on your next purchase. Plus, use my link down in the video description and code 𝗧 at checkout for a roughly $130 discount on every miner in your order priced over £1,000. Like the 𝗬𝗏 miner that I mentioned earlier. Or if you want to get a discount on the 𝗧𝗧 AE1 Lite or AE0, you can use the code 𝗧 instead. So if you've been wanting to get some ASIC miners, check out that link below together with the code to save on your purchase. Alright, so phone mining. This video is obviously kind of like the part 3 to my 2-part series on phone mining that I made just a bit over a year ago, as I mentioned in the intro. You can see both of these videos here. They performed incredibly well for my channel with multiple hundreds of thousands of views, which I usually don't get, so that was really cool to see. It's fun to see that there's such a big amount of interest in phone mining. But yeah, let's not dwell on that. Those videos are still there if you want to go watch them. They kind of go through just like what phone mining is, how it works, how it makes you money, how to sell the coins if you want to, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's kind of in the first video there. And then the second video is all about like how to actually get the whole mining setup working on your phones. And in those videos, I talk about a very specific phone, which at the time was kind of considered the, best value for money in terms of a mining phone, because it had great performance while still being pretty cheap. And it is this phone, which is also the phone that I have here, the Samsung Galaxy A03s. And it comes as a kind of locked prepaid phone, carrier locked, which does not matter at all. You're just using it on Wi-Fi anyway. You don't even need to get a SIM card for it or put a SIM card in the phone. It works for mining just as it is. And one thing I want to mention here too is that obviously you don't need to buy specifically this phone. In many cases, maybe you just have an old phone that you're not using anymore. That would still work perfectly fine to mine Veruscoin with, and it could just be worth plugging that in, setting it up. So just wanted to mention that quickly too, that like you don't need to specifically get this phone. Most somewhat new-ish Android phones work. And I want to bring up here that I'm not sure that this is still the best phone for mining this whole coin thing that we're going to be talking about and kind of evaluating today. But I noticed that it is still available for pretty cheap. At the time I was making the video there a bit over a year ago, it cost $49. I also know that it went down to just $37 during Amazon's Black Friday sale a couple months after that. So yeah, you can really pick these up cheap. And obviously the whole point there is like you want to get the mining hardware, which in this case would be the phones, for as cheap as possible, so that you can make a profit from the amount of coins you are mining with those phones. And speaking of that, what coin was it that you were mining? Well, it was this coin, Veruscoin. This is kind of what has happened with Verus's coin price since making that original couple of videos a bit over a year ago. As you can see, the coin price has done extremely well. It went from being around 40 cents or so back in August there when I was making that video, to shooting up to well above $6. So well over a 10 times increase in coin value. It's obviously gone down a bit since then, but it's still hanging out at $3, you know, up from the, you know, 35, 40-ish cents that it was back then. So huge increase in the coin's value, which of course is a big part of crypto mining and making money with crypto mining, is mining coins, holding them, and then seeing the coin price go up in value. Now, of course, you can never tell the future and know that that will happen. So of course, just keep that in mind. That is kind of the risk you're taking on in a lot of cases with crypto mining, if you do choose to hold the coins and then potentially sell them later. Of course, you can also sell every day and cash in your daily profit that way with way less risk. Now, the main thing that I want to get into in this video is how much money can you potentially actually have made if you mined with one of these phones, held all the coins and sold at different points during this market here for the coin. And I've actually put together a pretty in-depth but still simple to understand spreadsheet that tracks all of the earnings had you been mining with one of these phones. So as you can see here, I started this on the day that I uploaded my first phone mining video, which was the 3rd of August 2023. So this whole little calculation here assumes you started mining on the same day I made the video. The results aren't going to vary vastly if you started, you know, a week or 2 weeks later or anything like that. But what we're going to be looking at is obviously the coin price and how that is increasing over time and decreasing. How much you are earning in terms of mining revenue in US dollars per day per mega hash of, you know, hash rate, which hash rate is kind of the mining performance of the phone. Then we're gonna look at how many coins you are getting per day per mega hash. But maybe more importantly, we're gonna look at how many coins you are getting per day per one of these phones. So that is kind of the main metric we're looking at to start here. And you can see you're getting about 0.08-ish coins here. And going down, we can see it goes down. You're earning less and less coin each and every day. If I scroll down all the way here, you can see we're definitely kind of earning less coins per day here than we were in the beginning by a, you know, significant amount. But of course, you know, the coin price has also gone from a, you know, 40 cents to, well, now around $3. But at the top here, as we discussed, there were some days with the coin price over $6. Now, probably the more important things to look at are these fields here. So starting with the mining yield per phone total. So how many Verus coins are we actually accumulating in total over time if we were to save all of the mined coins and not selling them. So let's just reveal here, starting out with, you know, 0.77. Then the next day, we're obviously getting this much plus what we had from yesterday and so on. And we can see the total amount of coins we're getting per phone here, you know, keeping in mind that these phones you could got for like $49 or even $37 per phone if you pick them up at Black Friday. Going down, and we're getting to just about 20 Veruscoin total as of today's date, if you would have been mining, you know, 24/7 with these phones. But moving on, maybe the even more interesting thing here is, what if, you know, at any point you were to take how much all the coins you had made up till that day and sold it for whatever the coin price were on that day. So let me start by just revealing a few rows here. So the first day, if you took your, you know, 0.077 Veruscoin and sold on that day at that day's coin price of 41.5 cents, you would have made 3 cents in total revenue. But then if you saved that, waited until the end of day 2 and took your 0.159 Veruscoins and sold all of it at that day for the 41.96 cents coin price of that day, you would have made 7 cents. So I hope this makes sense. If you just held on to your coins, this shows you how much money you would have made selling all of the coins you would have mined so far at whatever that day's coin price was. So let me just reveal this whole column here. And this will show you kind of the total amount you could have made holding all your coins and then selling them at any specific date. So holding, you can see here we're getting up to $1. Obviously we want this to at least exceed the $49 we paid for the phone. Or if you're mining on an old phone you already had, then hey, basically anything here is, you know, a profit. You know, not taking into account the power cost for charging the phone over time, but we will look into that. As you can see, I have a field for that too. But just in total income here, we can see we're getting up to, you know, $3, then it jumps up to like $11 really quickly here during the coin price spike up to $1.50 here. That would obviously be during this little bump in price here. And then obviously we're wanting to see, well, what if we held it until here, for example? So December 7th of last year. Let's have a look. So we're scrolling down, going, you can see we're, even though during this period, the coin price was just kind of stagnant, since we're mining more and more coin each day, the amount of money here is still going up, which is, you know, how mining works. So here we're seeing that all of a sudden it's starting to spike up in price. We're going from like $26, $27 to all of a sudden, you know, $70 worth. And keep going. And here, December, you can see we are well above $100 made at this point. If you, of course, had been holding all of your mined coins to then sell them at this point in time. Then obviously at some point here, the coin price kind of went down a little again to then spike up again, giving you a little bit of a second chance to sell at a really high coin price in February. So let's have a look at that. That would be here with still well over $100 worth of Veruscoin to sell, and then keep going. And even as of today, all the mined coins are still above, well, almost at $60 worth if you were to sell them today. Or of course, you could kind of hold out hoping to see the coin price go back up to the $6 levels again. Who knows, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But obviously, it's not all profit because we do have to pay for the power to charge these phones. So let's just reveal this column and see here. So this is if you're paying 15 cents per kilowatt hour, which is a somewhat average, maybe average high for some countries, average low for some countries, but fairly average overall electric price per kilowatt hour. And these phones, they pull around 3 watts of power when kind of like for you know, averaged out charging it over a 24-hour period. So here we go, scrolling down, we can see obviously this goes up pretty evenly because the phone pulled the same amount of power every single day. So we can see here, you know, it's going up by, you know, a few cents each day because of it pulls the same amount of power every day and you're paying the same amount for power every day. In this example, at least you are. And as we can see here, all the way up to here, it would have only still spent about not even $7 on power, while still having 58, almost $60 worth of Veruscoin to sell that we had mined with these phones. So even just taking that into account, at this point, you would have made a profit if you bought the phone at $49 and mined with it up until now, or if you bought it at $37 and mined with it up until now, you still would have made a pretty significant profit there. I mean, depending on your perspective, maybe you think, oh, what, like $20 worth of profit, that's not that much. Granted, but I also know some of you, after watching my videos, bought several phones, to put it lightly. And also I want to, you know, remind you that you could have sold here as well and cash in on a much more significant portion of profit per phone. Is one more thing that I want to look at here. Actually, two more things, but we can just quickly reveal the first one here, which is obviously just how much the sort of revenue you would have made selling the coins, and then subtracting how much you would have spent on power up until that day too, to give you the actual final mining profit per phone. So going through there, it's just this column and then subtract this column from it. So here you can see the total profit there. At this point in time, around 50 bucks. At the sort of higher coin prices here, well over 100 bucks. We can see here, yeah, we were kind of at peak around $112, I think. But last thing that I want to mention here is phones themselves aren't worthless. They're actually worth a bit of money still as of today. And I just checked, and if you just go look here on sold phones on eBay, these kind of still sell, and these are all locked ones. You can see I searched for phones that weren't unlocked, so minus unlocked there. We can see here's one with big scratches, locked to Metro PCS, I assume is a American phone carrier. Still went for 35 bucks, you know, with big scratches on it. So not perfect condition. These are all pre-owned phones, so in used condition, right? Here's one selling for 40 bucks, locked to Cricket. Reminding you again, you could have got these phones for 37 bucks during Amazon's Black Friday sale. Here you can see 25 bucks, 33, 40. So in a way, we kind of can just disregard the price for the initial purchase of the phones and just say, hey, whatever this is, that's the total profit you made per phone, because you can just sell the phone for essentially what you bought it for back then, a little over a year ago. So let's just say you played this perfectly, right? Let's say you bought the phone for $37 at the Black Friday sale. You mined up until this point here, sold all the mined coins plus the phone for whatever you bought it for. Essentially, you would have walked away with $100 extra per phone you bought in your pocket. And that's, you know, after taking into account both the power price and the purchase price of the phone. So let's for fun say that at that point in time, you bought 100 phones and set them all up. So $37 times 100 phones. You would have spent $3,700 on these phones. And of course, you would be walking away with 100 phones that all made you $100 each, $10,000. So you spent $3,700 and you're walking away with $10,000 of profit. Anyway, I hope this was as interesting to you. And also I really want to ask you here that if you are interested in me covering phone mining more than I have been on the channel, then please let me know down in the comments. I have to admit, I've kind of not been paying attention to phone mining that much during this past year and a half or whatever, because there's been so much else I wanted to cover in terms of crypto mining here on the channel. But please, again, as I said, let me know in the comments if you want me to cover phone mining more. I do think it's a pretty interesting field within mining, so yeah, just let me know. Other than that, I'll leave the links to my previous phone mining videos on the screen here that you can go check out. Give the video a like if you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in one of those videos. Thank you for watching.